Let me tweet it out. Crap. I have my tweet
just like Nick. The first thing people hear you say is tweet it out.
I had my tweet already, and now I have to retweet it. Okay, here we go. We are live. General strike, October 15th. Okay, let's see what we have going on here. Hey, Blue Moon Red Wine, what's going on? I haven't forgotten. I need to reach out to you to see if you can come on because you've been talking about some really cool stuff. Who else we got? Hi, Lawrence. Hello, Michelle. All right, cool. So let me just double check. Rockfin, guys. Yeah, Jackie, this is one thing about Rockfin. When you go live for Rockfin, you still have to go into Rockfin and hit go live.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to do that with YouTube, but just a second.
So that explains why Eleanor always yells at Lee, go live!
Yeah, that's probably why, because, like, come on, Rockfin. I am live, right? Yes, I am live. Come on. Okay, here it goes. There's always a delay with Rockfin. And now go live on Rockfin. Cool. Let me come out of Twitter. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I had my things lined up. That's why I was like, no, I didn't mean.
Oh, look at you. You just started. Already got a super chat.
Whoa. All right. Thanks, Diane, for the super chat. Hi, Sabby. I'll be in Boston Saturday with grandkids in tow. Woohoo. Oh, Jackie, you might have to mute yourself when you're not talking because I have a little bit of echo. Cools. All right, guys, welcome to Sabby Sabs podcast. I'm your host, Sabrina Salvati. I have my comrade Jackie here from Fred Hampton Leftist. Hey, Jackie.
Hi.
All right, guys. So, a lot of you already know this, but yesterday when we were talking about the Frito-Lay strike, I told you guys that we need a general strike in this country. It has been brought to my attention that there is a general strike that is scheduled for October. So I have the website and everything. There's some TikTok videos I want to show you guys that are about that strike too. But before I get into that, I do want to get Jackie, I want to get your opinion about this general strike. Like, do you think that this could work? Like, what are some of the concerns you may have about it? Just want to get your take on this.
I have a lot of concerns, and I'm wondering how exactly it's organized. So I do think a general strike will work. That's the thing I've been pushing for this whole time. I believe October 15th might be a little early because we're almost through with July, and to organize that, it's a huge undertaking, especially nationwide. I believe that with the general strike, we're going to need help from unions, and not all businesses have unions. So in order to organize unions, you need to give people time to do so. I believe that it will work if we have mutual aid networks set up, because it will not work if it is a one-day thing. A one-day general strike is not a general strike. That is a one-day protest, and corporations can easily handle it. They will, specifically the corporations we're going after with like Amazon and Walmart and places like that. These big corporations, the ones that we need to hit, because if you can make the biggest corporations fix their labor issues, you can make all the little ones have to follow suit or they won't be able to hang. So going after these corporations, If it's just going to be a one-day thing, they will literally write that off. Not only that, but they'll get tax breaks based on it, and they'll basically use like taxpayer money to subsidize us not getting the money for one day. So if it's a one-day thing, no, it's not going to work. But if it's this is day one and we go until it works, it will absolutely work. That's my opinion.
Okay, so I'm going to take you guys to the website because I was going over this last night, and this is really interesting. And I forget who sent me this information, but to the person that did, thank you so much. All right, so here it is, guys. National General Strike, October 15th. The rights of the working class have been trampled on for too long. Starting October 15th, we will strike to gain the rights we deserve. I'm going to first show you some of the stats that they give. They said 40 million Americans live at or below the national poverty line. The average American is $90,460 in debt just to afford basic necessities, which is awful. The United States is the only developed country that requires zero paid time off for maternity leave. Can't talk tonight. Don't know what's happening. Unemployment rose to 14% in 2021 because companies refused to raise wages. Only 100 corporations are responsible for 71% of all global carbon emissions. 78% of employees with 5-day weeks are less happy and more stressed than those with 4-day weeks. Pharmaceutical companies are extorting patients for medication. Oh, and look, it's our favorite person. Amazon paid $0 in taxes in 2017 and 2018. So those are the statistics that they're giving us. Now, I'm going to tell you guys what the plan is. And then, Jackie, I want to get your opinion about this, and I'll go into more details. Starting October 15th, strikers that will not show up to work. Strikers will also boycott large corporations such as Amazon and Walmart. Some will abstain from all economic activity. This will all be in an effort to go bring the attention of the powers that be to our needs as workers. They have the power to enact epic change, but will not until their livelihoods are threatened to. We will not stop striking. We will not stop striking until each and every one of our goals are met. Who is running this? We are a nonpartisan group of diverse and experienced volunteer organizers from all over the United States. Is this safe? We are always hard at work putting together a mutual aid for strikers. The safety and well-being of our supporters is our primary concern. To connect with people around you who are organizing mutual aid, we suggest joining our Discord server below, as the situation varies by location and is rapidly developing. Also, who is backing this? The Raven Corps. I'm not familiar with them. And I'll get into what you can do in just a second. But Jackie, I want to pop out for a second because I want to get your take on this.
Mm-hmm. So far, so good. I like the fact that it's not set up as a one-day strike. It's until we get all of our needs met. That's a good thing. I feel like right off the bat, there needs to be more advertising, because I found out about this through TikTok, and I went and told people that in my job, and everybody was like, what are you talking about? Like, so many people haven't heard of it yet. And for this to be effective, there needs to be like either marketing or just worldwide, or not worldwide, but nationwide word of mouth.
I agree. I'm the same situation with Jackie. Like I heard someone sent me this. I can't even remember who the person was that sent it to me, but no one I've mentioned to has heard that this is happening, and people should know about this by now. One of the things they put on here is what can I do? There are many ways to help participate in the strike. Skip work starting on October 15th. Write your representative in Congress to let them know our demands. Boycott large and influential corporations. Get your friends, family, and coworkers involved. Organize mutual aid for your community. And here are the goals: 25% corporate tax rate, no loopholes. Universal health care for all. 12 weeks paid paternity leave, excuse me. $20 an hour minimum wage. 4-day work week, and Nero Zet emission Zet, good Lord, net zero emissions by 2030. I'm gonna pop out and I'm gonna go to some of the comments in the chat because I want to hear what people have to say about this. And by the way, that is all they have on the website right now. That's it. It's just that one pager. So there isn't like other tabs or anything like that. So let me go to.
That's part of a problem. Like it when they tell you what to do, each one of those things and what to do, there should be that should be like a hyperlink. You click on it and it explains how to do that. How do you set up mutual aid networks? What if you don't know? What if you don't have time to set it up? Here are some to donate to, or how to organize it in your community. When you set up, like you tell people not to go to work, in order for them to do that, you're either going to have tons of mutual aid or a union, because people still have to work. You're talking about the people on the poverty line. They can't afford a $400 disaster. They can't afford to skip work. So you're going to have to give them a means to be able to not go to work, especially if it's an indefinite thing. So the best way to do that is unions, or if not unions, mutual aid. But you can't just say unions and mutual aid. Have a page that says, if you're a worker not going to work, here's how. Go to this union. Here are a list of unions. Have it state by state. Make it as easy as possible for people to do this. And that way it can actually work. And then, like I said, get the word out. Let everybody know. Because if there's like 25 people doing it, that's not going to make a blip,
Yeah, I see Andrew said the people running this are trying to be unanimous, right? That's probably why marketing isn't great. That's a good point, Andrew.
You can do unanimous marketing, though. Like they put their name, the Raven Corps, in there. You can set up a corporation named or doing business as the Raven Corps. So just using that name, that can be how they do marketing. And you can do. So I don't really accept that as an excuse as to not do marketing, because you can set up a situation where you're using the name that they use on the website, and then the individual members can still remain unanimous. So that doesn't excuse not marketing, in my opinion.
Yeah. I see some people just came on and said, let me go back. I'm going to share my screen again because Jonathan said, who's organizing this? But I want to get to Gary's comment in the chat real quick. This is the first time I've heard of it, and I like to think I'm pretty informed. Exactly. That's the point that me and Jackie were making. Like, more people need to know about this. So I'm actually going to share my screen one more time so I can show everyone again who is actually organizing this. And I'll be sure to put the link to this website in the chat too, so you guys can share with other people if you like. So again, this is the website for the National General Strike, October 15th. And what they are asking is that starting on October 15th, you either not show up to work, or you can boycott large corporations such as Amazon and Walmart. Some people are going to abstain from all economic activity. This is being ran by a nonpartisan group of diverse and experienced volunteer organizers from all over the U.S., and it is backed by the Raven Corps. So I just wanted to show that again. Again, the website is just a one-pager. And Jackie brought up unions, and I want to get to that because I did see something. Oh, shoot. I got a super chat. I think I missed it. Hold on. I'm coming. Okay. Mr. said, discover your show a month ago. Love it. Thank you, Mr. Mr. is the man. Go back up here. I was told, and I
Did
don't
you
know if
just
this is
call him
true or
Mister so
not.
you didn't have to pronounce Methuselah?
I did.
Totally busted.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jackie knows me so well. Oh my God. It is so true. That's a thing with me too, man. Um Eric. I'm sorry. Sorry, Mister. Okay. I saw a TikTok video and I'm going to play some of these because the one person told me they heard about this through TikTok. And so they sent me some of the TikTok videos about this strike. So I'm going to open that up really quick. And Jackie mentioned something about unions. And this is something that I am kind of concerned about because is this strike only going to protect people that are a part of unions? And what about people that are not a part of unions? Does that mean that we risk losing our job? So,
Well, that's another thing. Like, if this is a well organized strike, then wouldn't they have gotten with all of the major unions in the country to get them to promote it? And it doesn't seem like they've done that because most people haven't heard of it yet.
right.
So I don't
And
even think that unions, like, as of right now, I don't even think there's union protection.
right. And that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Here's one of the TikTok videos. It says, please support the October 15th general strike. Ot Pop has tips on how to strike while working. So I want to play this. Share my screen. Share audio. That would be important.
Grabbing down around the neck has historically a sign of workers' rights, pro-strike, pro-union, and goes all the way back to the Appalachian coal strikes. Another thing you can do is if your coworkers are striking, you should just work like you are full staff, even if you're the only person in the store. A lot about strikes are slowing and stopping the means of production. So being in a service industry job and just working like your full staff can really slow and stop production on its own. If you're white, able-bodied, put yourself in a position where you can take the brunt of the pushback. Do not let gay, disabled, and BIPOC communities take the brunt of this. Hand out the flyers to your coworkers, and if you are not in a position where that is safe for you, do the tip jar thing. And most importantly, talk to your immediate neighbors and see who needs help. So you have to work during the strike.
Okay, that's one. Another one I want to show.
I don't know about everybody else, but I could barely hear her.
Really? I don't know how to turn up the volume. Hold on, let me see. How do you turn up the volume? Okay. Oh, I think
Probably
I know
just
why.
turn it up on your computer. Is that a doggy?
I don't even think that's the right one. That's weird. All right. Before I show you this one, I just want to preface because they say, please be kind to everyone. This is not meant as an attack on any of the organizers. So I'm just giving you guys a heads up about this one that he is saying that up front. Okay, make sure the volume is on. Turn the volume up. And I'm going to share my screen. Share audio.
A lot of questions and a lot of feedback given, and it's really hard to keep up because the Discord has a lot of people in it now, and they're really having a difficult time organizing since the infrastructure initially was not well developed. So unfortunately, none of the people who are currently organizing and on the Discord have any labor organizing experience. The person who runs the TikTok account does have experience in some things, but not labor organizing, which, is helpful. All experience is helpful in some regard, but it's really difficult to organize a national general strike if nobody has ever done this before. There's also a lot of concerns with people coming into the Discord who may not be good actors, and they want to, start some shit. Discord is really dysfunctional if you don't have it set up properly, and can be really unhelpful. But it's also important to know that Discord is also not a very safe place to organize, because that data can easily be leaked. People can hack, people can join who just want to spread the wrong information. So just be careful if you do join the Discord. There has also been a statement released.
Okay. And I'll stop it there. Okay, so that is a concern of mine. I want to get your opinion on that too, Jackie. He's basically saying that, on the website they said to join their Discord for more information, but he's saying that Discord is not a good site for organizers.
No. Slack is a much better site. And honestly, I'm wondering why this wasn't organized by the people who organized Bernie's campaign. Because his Slack was nationwide. They had all the numbers. They had all the emails. Everybody who was willing to vote for Bernie, who gave him money constantly, those people will sign up for a general strike in a heartbeat. And you have the Slack. So I'm wondering why those people didn't decide to organize a general strike, because if they can run a presidential campaign, they can organize a general strike. They know how to do that. So where are they? Also, where are the unions? Discord is a terrible place to organize something like that. It's chaotic. Slack is where you would organize something like that. Again, that's where Bernie's campaign was run. So where are the people who organized Bernie's campaign? Where are unions? They need to be involved, because they can tell you this stuff. They just said they don't have any experience. That's literally what unions are for. Go to the unions, You're muted.
Oh, I muted myself. I'm gonna comment on that in just a second. Got a couple super chats I want to address. Jonathan said it doesn't seem workers put this together. Like May 2006, when undocumented workers struck. Sounds like petty bourgeois kids trying to save the workers. It's a good point. Steve. Thanks for the super chat, Steve. Hey, friends, boycott Frito-Lay products to support the strikers. Let's get their attention. I agree, Steve. I'm down with that.
I would love to, but I don't buy them anyway. So it has zero impact. It's like I buy Doritos maybe once a year. So I don't think they're going to really feel it from me. But people who usually eat them, stop eating them. Also, I would love to boycott Pepsi, but again, I don't drink soda, so
same here.
I'm a terrible consumer for this kind of thing. I'm not very good at withholding money that I don't normally spend. So
I boycotted Pepsi like 15 years ago.
Right? There is one comment. Do you mind if I mention that? If I go into that?
Go ahead.
Saltdoll said, can a one-day general strike at least get their attention? Yes. And that's not a good thing. I know you think like any movement is progress, but no, because we are in an oligarchy, meaning the corporations run our government. Okay. So if we get their attention and say, hey, we don't like this, they're going to come down harder. They're going to tell these corporations are going to go to the government and say, make laws preventing them from doing that. And you see that the government is willing to acquiesce, just like they're willing to basically erode our First Amendment rights by saying what you can and can't say, that the White House decides whether or not that's considered good or bad. So be forewarned, they will, like, if you're trying to go after the most powerful people in the country, they will fight back if this is half-assed. That's why we have so many concerns, because we know a bad one would actually be worse.
That's a good point, Jackie. Mr. Thanks for the super chat. Union leaderships have been co-opted by corporations and the establishment. Some AFL-CIO leaders were sent to jail recently for taking kickbacks and colluding with Stellantis, Chrysler Motors. I was not aware of that. Thank you for that information, Mr.
That's very true. But when I'm talking about getting with people who, like, people who ran the Bernie Slack and people with unions, you don't have to be talking to the people in the actual unions. Like, Nevada is a really good example. The union leaders were like, let's go with somebody like Pete Buttigieg or somebody stupid like that, right? You know, some neoliberal, like, shithead that's going to keep everything the same. And the union workers were like, or you're going to get in line with us because we're all socialist and we're all voting for Bernie. And the entire state of Nevada voted for Bernie. Okay. And then after that, they had an election and it went totally socialist. And that's what I mean. Within the system, because you always have this with jobs, right? You have, like, there's somebody at the top who barely knows his ass from a hole in the ground who's calling the shots. But then the people underneath that person are the ones who actually organize things and run it. Go to them, because you might find comrades amongst them. They're the ones who know how everything works and how everything operates. Again, I didn't say go get Bernie. I said get the people who ran Bernie's Slack. That's what I mean when I say go to the unions and go to the people. I don't mean go to the organizations themselves. I mean go to the people underneath them who ran those organizations. They can tell you, they can be like, here's how you set up a Slack. Here's how you run moderation. Here's how you set up meetings on this software. Here's how you organize and do marketing. That's what I'm referring to when I say that.
All good points. I want to bring up something. I just saw it in the chat. Where did it go? Oh, here we go. Roxanne. Many public sector unions have contracts prohibiting them from striking on anything outside their contract. Not saying I don't like the general strike idea, but this is a challenge. That's good to know, Roxanne. I wasn't aware of that. We got a super chat. Jay Tinsley. It should be for 3 days beginning Monday, September 6th, Labor Day, and run through Wednesday, September 8th. Why specifically those dates, Jay? Thanks for the super chat.
I disagree, because if, again, whether it's 1 day, 3 days, 1 month, they can wait us out. These corporations have way more money than we do. They can live off the interest until we come back. If they know how long it's going to be, we're not willing to fight for it. It has to be indefinite. It has to be until the demands are met. That's the only way you get them to come to the table, because if not, they will wait it out. For 3 days, they will wait it out. And again, since these guys are large corporations, they'll just put rules in place to make sure you can't do it again. Or they will turn around and get the government to bail them out, like they did during COVID. Like, there's precedence for this. So it can't be any kind of timed thing. It has to be indefinite. They have to know we're serious. We're not going to just go back, because they will wait us out, and they can't. We're the ones that will starve to death and will lose our housing and will not be able to pay our own basic bills if we don't go back to work. They're sitting on a pile of money. They'll wait us out easily.
Well said, Jackie. That's a good point. I want to get to some of the super chats. Diane, thanks for the super chat. My grandkids want you to buy that house in Beverly. LOL. Oh, that's the one we bought. Thanks so much. You must have saw one of my old vlogs. That's the one we got. And I'm still trying to decorate things as we speak. even though that was a while ago. Mister, thanks for the super chat. There should be a push to repeal the Taft-Hartley Act because it reduced and destroyed the power of unions. You guys, I'm really proud of you guys in the chat. You guys know a lot about unions. I've never been a part of a union, and sometimes I wished I was. What about you, Jackie?
Yeah, I've been union before. I grew up on my father having a union job. My father worked for General Motors from the time I was born until I was 15. So my health insurance, the only time I've ever had health insurance in my life, it was always through a union. Because it was either my father's or when I was an adult and I worked a union job, it was through there because I'm not paying for it outside of it. So yeah, unions are not the end all be all. I am definitely pro-union, but people in the chat are absolutely correct that many unions have been corrupted. But that's why, like, as a socialist, you do what they did in Nevada. You take them back. Because the people in Nevada, their unions told them, don't vote for Bernie, vote for Warren or some other shit lib that's going to do absolutely nothing. And they went, no, you work for us. That's what I mean. Like, unions, at the very least, there's power in numbers. And if you don't like your union heads, you can get together and get rid of them. So, but at the very least, they're pretty much the only thing workers have going for them now in this corporate culture.
You know what? You know who would have been good, who we should have did this with as well? We should have did this with Jimmy Dore. Because he gave a whole spiel about what it was like working with the union and how you organize and how you get things done as like a union. Oh shoot, I missed something. Somebody just became a member and I can't see your name. It just lit up. Thank you. I can't see your name. Yeah, guys, I did forget to mention, I do have membership now on YouTube. So if you go to my channel now, you'll see a join button and you can join and become a member. It gives the list of all the cool perks you get. And you also get Discord with that too. But for whatever reason, that wasn't an option to click, but I connected Discord to my YouTube channel for YouTube members today. Thanks to the help of all the people at Indie Left News, because God knows I do not know my way around a Discord, like setting up a Discord. But yeah, you can become a member now and get some cool perks.
The name of the new member is Lila Catherine.
How do you see?
It's right there.
Oh.
I can just see it.
Am I behind?
Just showing up in my thing.
Can I click on it? Oh, all I had to do was click on it. Welcome, Lila. Thanks for becoming a member. And I think I missed a super chat.
I know, from Jay Tinsley?
Yep, here we go. Jay Tinsley, thanks for the super chat. He says, start with 3 days, in 2 weeks, another 2 days. In between, you stage direct actions. Then another general strike in 3 weeks. It's about disrupting and screw the rules. Jay, have you done this before? I'm getting the impression you might have done this before.
The reason why I don't think that would work, and I'm not trying to be mean or anything, I'm not trying to be disparaging, but realize that Jeff Bezos is Lex Luthor, okay? He is going to, like, in the 2 weeks between the 3 days, he is going to attack, like, people will vote against their own interest if a corporation throws enough money at it. And that's exactly what will happen. Like out here, I live in California. We had a Proposition 22, or I think it's 21. No, it's 22. Against basically to make it so that the gig economy people had to follow the law, because the state of California already said you are treating your people like employees. You're not paying people a minimum wage. So you have to pay people at least a minimum wage, and you have to follow labor laws. And instead of doing that, they spent literally millions and millions of dollars blanketing everything. You couldn't look at a screen without seeing an ad for this law. And it was just lies. It was saying, oh, if you don't do this, then gig work won't be around anymore. You won't be, if you don't vote for us, then like just all these lies, like, oh, you'd have to be an employee, which means you'd have to clock in, and all bullshit. Because that's not at all what the law was saying, right? And people bought into the BS from the commercials because they hire marketing teams that are professional. And like we just pointed out, there is no professional marketing team for the general strike. So corporations just have to throw a couple million at a marketing team to convince you that if you do this, it's going to be bad. And then nobody will show up for your second one. So they don't even have to change the laws for the second one. They just have to they can do so many things in their arsenal to kneecap you. And again, they're the ones with all the money. They have they have crews of people that they can throw money at to stop whatever momentum you had going. That's why it's got to be indefinite. You've got to be willing to be in the streets and say, no one's buying your products. No one's working in your stores until you do this. Because if you say, well, we'll do it for 2 days, then they'll be like, okay, everybody get back to work. And what they will do is they will do as much as they can to, like, if you think that your job doesn't have access to your social media, you're fooling yourself, because they all do. And they will just, if they find out anybody is organizing, they'll just fire you before that 2 weeks is up. So, and they'll easily replace you because we're all expendable to them. That's the whole problem. So that's why I disagree with the stages. It has to be an all or nothing. Just being disruptive means they're not making any money and they can't make any money. And it's got to stay that way. They've got to sustain long-term losses, because short terms, they won't blink. They can outlast us. Has to be long-term so that they know we're for real, or it won't. I just don't see it working, but that's my opinion.
Okay. Joe said, Campaign Nonviolence, Rivera's son, and Backbone Campaign, Bill Moyer, have excellent organizing skills to teach nonviolent civil disobedience. You really should ask them for an interview. Thanks, Joe. I'll check that out. I think I missed a super chat somewhere. Andrew, thanks for the super chat, Andrew. Sorry for the broad question, but are there distinct differences between public and private unions, or does it vary from union to union? Jackie.
I love how just because I've been in one union, like I'm a union. I'm the resident expert. I don't know, because I was not in a private union. My father's union was almost identical to the one that I joined when I was an adult. When I was an adult, like I'm not anymore. I have reverted back to teenager. So I don't have any experience with private unions, so I can't tell you. I would assume that a private union would be easier not to corrupt, because the people in it are the people, since it's private, like it would be more socialist. I would assume. I don't know. But then again, maybe if it's smaller, it would be easier to corrupt. I have no experience with private unions.
Well said. Shout out to Lila, who is a Sabby member. Organized mutual aid will be needed. Yeah, so I see we got a couple of new people that came on, and I do want to show that to you guys. That part on the website for this strike one more time, because I want people to see exactly what they're saying we should do, and what the goals are. So just going back to this again, where is the mutual aid? I know they mentioned that. Just a second. Yes. So one of the things that they mention is organize mutual aid for your community. But to Jackie's point earlier, they don't tell you how to do it. So that is one thing that they're going to have to, they need some links here that explain how you do some of these things if you're new to this. And I just want to tell everybody what the goals are again. I realized that was an 80%. I don't even know if you guys are seeing that. My dad would have been like, I need my glasses. All right, here we go. The goal, 25% corporate tax rate, no loopholes. universal health care for all, 12 weeks paid parental leave, $20 an hour minimum wage, 4-day work week, and net zero emissions by 2030. I'm going to copy this link.
One thing I have a problem with is the $20 an hour minimum wage. It should be 25.
20 is kind of low.
Yeah. I mean, we've been saying 15 for over a decade, so yeah, catch up.
Yeah, 20 is kind of like they could have went up a little bit further than that. And then just to scoot up here to tell everybody, they do have a way that you can get involved, but the only con I have about this is they want you to do it by joining their Discord server. And we saw earlier in tonight's show that Discord is actually not the right thing to use for that because data can easily be leaked. So Jackie actually recommended using Slack instead. And then if you just go back up to the top, this is what, it looks like. So I think they still have some work to do. But
which is another reason why October 15th is way too soon. They should have put this for sometime next year to allow them to they admitted in the TikTok that you showed, they don't know how to organize. So before they just kind of threw it together, they should have gotten someone that knew how to organize. Like I said, 2 people, get one person who used to run a union and one person who used to run Bernie Slack. Because the person who used to run Bernie Slack knows how to organize a movement and knows how to get a bunch of people on. And they can, another thing, somebody like Bernie who was able to get millions of people to donate $3, go to him and say, hey, can you reactivate your Slack and set up a mutual aid network and let everybody know? Like, have these conversations, do this behind the scenes before you make this public. And then you'll know about how long it'll take. It probably will take about a year to organize that.
Yeah, I am kind of concerned that they're trying to do it because like I said, like July's almost over and we're going into August and everybody I told this to did not know that this was happening. And I found out from another person who found out through TikTok. I want to get to the Jay's comment in the super chat. Why do you give a rat's ass what laws they pass? They got money. We got numbers. To do what you want cannot be done. Or do what you want cannot be done. Check out Chris Hedges. Chris Hedges, that's another person I want to get on because he has like really good input about this as well.
So to answer his question, the only way things have ever changed, not only in this country, but in other countries, is doing it the way that I'm talking about. Because if you say, we're going to do something for one day, again, they will wait you out. They have the resources to do that. We don't. They have to know we're serious. The U.S. has actually had a war against its own people. I'm not talking about the Civil War. And it was over worker rights. The U.S. will play dirty. And I think you guys are underestimating it. Okay. You're underestimating how dirty corporations will play. And when I say the U.S., I do mean the corporations because that's who the U.S. represents. They don't represent the people. They represent the corporations. Supreme Court even told us that when they said that a corporation can be viewed as a person. They let the cat out of the bag. We're an oligarchy. I don't give a rat's ass about the laws that they pass. What I'm saying is, if you try to do this piecemeal, it won't work because they will stop you. They will. They have more money. They have more resources. They'll win. And not only will they stop you, but they will prevent it from happening in the future. It doesn't matter if they pass laws about it. Like I said, they have enough money to throw at it to get you to vote against your own interest. So they will convince you that if you don't give them money, you're like Amazon is a prime example, right? Everybody was saying the working conditions at Amazon were horrible. So immediately you started seeing Twitter accounts and Facebook people saying, I work at Amazon and it's amazing. And every other commercial that was non-skippable was an Amazon worker saying, Amazon is a really safe place and I love this, blah, blah, blah. That's what I mean. Like, they can outlast us.
I want to go to Hassan's comment because he said that listening to this kind of mirrors the challenges that working class people face with trying to get Congress to pass Medicare for all. It's the fact that corporate interests have a lot more money than the people. You hit the nail on the head, Hassan. I agree. Well said. I want to show you guys something really quick. So out of curiosity, I Googled October General Strike 2021. And I'm going to show you what appeared. Share my screen. I don't know why I have to announce that every time I'm sharing my screen, but I just do.
It's funny because I always think like this, like watch Sabby so you can learn how to do a podcast. She gives you the breakdown as she does it.
Like share my screen. All right, guys, look, check this out. I Googled October General Strike 2021. Let me show you what appears. The first thing is that website that I pulled up throughout the show, and I put the link in the chat. The second thing that appears is, did you know there's going to be a general strike in 2021? So that's not good. And that's on both.
Look at that third thing.
But look at what's third. Me and Jackie. We haven't even finished the show yet.
Savvy with that SEO on point.
Yo, we are third. That is how much information is out here about this strike right now. That's not good. I mean, it's good for me and Jackie, but it's not good for the strike because why are we popping up third and we're not even done with this show yet? Let me stop sharing my screen. So there is definitely some work that needs to be done with the advertising. I think I missed something again. I did. It's Jay. Jay Tinsley, thanks for the super chat. I said, do a continuing series that doesn't stop. If you give them a year to prepare, no action will ever happen.
No, I don't mean a year to prepare like the corporations. I mean, it takes a year to properly prepare a general strike that can be ongoing. That's what I meant. I don't mean you give the corporations. I mean, you sit back, like you, the organizers, prepare it and get all your ducks in a row and make sure, you know, you get your word out in advertising and you set it up because you have to set up mutual aid networks. You have to set up, you know, you have to talk to unions to get them to be on board. That's what I mean. The organizing itself. I don't mean you give the corporations a year. No, I mean, it takes time to do all of this. And so, for example, if you want to actually do this, then like, let's say you want to do it October 15th next year, then now is the time to push for unions in every job space you can find. And you need to gather up all the information on these corporations because here's the deal. If you really want people to stop paying for Amazon, then you need to give them a resource of who they can go to. Here's a mom and pop shop that you can go to in your area. You can't just throw that up in 15 minutes because it's going to take time to research and organize and find who's not a shell corporation for Walmart, who's not a shell corporation for Amazon, who's a real mom and pop place, and set up a situation so that you can say, you know, if you need hardware stuff, instead of going to Lowe's or Home Depot, go to this mom and pop place for these cities in this state. And we have 50 states and the District of Columbia. It's going to take a while. And that's what I mean by organizing. And also a mutual aid fund. You got to grow that up for a while so that people can continue to live off of that. Because once you start, it's go time. And there's no stopping. There's no going back. That's what I mean. I mean, organizing in that manner.
Shout out to Lila. She's a Sabby Sabs member. Y'all should check out the movie Pride, Workers' Rights Strike and True Story. I have not seen that movie yet. Another person told me I needed to check that out. Thank you, Lila. Aspen Fallen. Yes. Thank you for saying this. Amazon is a prime example. Yes. And speaking of Prime and Amazon in the same sentence, I am telling people, I said this yesterday, I'm going to say it again today. I highly encourage all of you to get rid of your Amazon Prime subscriptions. And the reason why I say that is because it's about what, $100 a year now. I remember when it used to be a lot less. For students get like a discount, but it's $100 a year. So think about if 50,000 people in this country had Prime memberships that were not on the student discount, right? Think about how much money that is for Jeff Bezos. And I know it sucks because you're like, dang, but then I won't get my stuff within 2 days. Guys, even for me with Amazon Prime, I don't get my stuff in 2 days all the time anyway. So that's something I think a lot of us could just get rid of. You don't really need it. What do you think, Jackie?
I agree that there are some people who don't need it. So I have a little bit of even though I hate Bezos, I do. I have a little bit of a softer view on people who use Amazon. Like, I use Amazon for the video side, not really to buy stuff, but to like watch the shows and stuff. But I understand if people who can't afford to pay full price for things buy Amazon, because Amazon and Walmart, that's their entire business model. They drive their prices so low that they drive out the mom and pop shops. And now when you go to find something, when you like say you need something and you have a limited budget anyway, Amazon and Walmart might be the only places you could afford to buy something. So I don't begrudge the working class person who has to go to one of those places because it's the store that they can go to. I begrudge those places for making profit out of other people's labor. So I don't want to attack people who use it, because like, if you only have $10 to your name and something happens and you need to buy something, like you need school supplies for your kid and you only have like $20 total, you probably can't afford to go to like a mom and pop shop to get a backpack, because those backpacks are like $40. So I get it. I'm not going to like hate on anybody, but I'm still like, when it comes to like a general strike, that's when it's like anybody who can. But I want to preface, like, I'm not going to yell at people who can't, because it's by design that they're the cheapest places, you know?
My bad.
And so like I said, like, if you have the money to be able to afford something else, then, cancel Amazon. But if you can't, I'm not going to like, I'm not a shamer, in other words. Like, I'm not going to be like, you use Amazon, oh my God, you're horrible. And same with Walmart. Like, because again, like with back to school is the prime example. Some people, like if you have multiple kids, you have to get that stuff the cheapest you can. So if you have to pay, if you have to go through Amazon or if you have to go through Walmart, you got to do what you got to do. So I'm not going to shame you for it. But if you can afford to pay a mom and pop place, go to the mom and pop place. So that's my view on it.
Okay. Natalie said something, and I've received this question often about raising the minimum wage. Natalie said this might be a dumb question, but when minimum wage goes up to, say, $20 an hour, would love to see, does my pay as an RN go up too? What do you think about that, Jackie?
It absolutely should. I think that a lot of people get caught in the minutia of things like that, like, oh my God, this fast food worker is going to be making the same thing as me. No. Okay, when we talk about minimum wage, what we're talking about, we're not just talking about raising that number. We're talking about raising all of the numbers. For example, the poverty line is laughably low, because $7.25 an hour is, if you're making $7.25 an hour, which is our federal minimum wage, you are living below that poverty line, even though the poverty line hasn't been adjusted. So we're talking about adjusting all the numbers. And you also hear people say like, oh, $25 an hour would all be eaten up in taxes. No, because what the normal minimum, all those numbers get adjusted. Trust me, the IRS can do that. They change shit every single year. Okay. It's not hard to change the tax code. All the numbers get adjusted so that now the minimum, the lowest number is $25 an hour.
That's a good point, Santino Ryder. He was talking about the Google algorithm, Google showing third because Google knows that's what you alone want to see. For everyone else, something quite different will show up. That's how Google search works now, biased. Good point. I want to give a shout out to Jay Teensley for the super chat. Do you honestly believe that you can do this kind of preparation for this action in secret? If so, you are delusional. Has
What was it that
anyone
you Googled? General Strike 2015?
October General Strike 2021?
Okay. October General Strike. I'm doing this through through an incognito window.
Oh.
See if that's correct.
Aspen Fallen.
Nope, not correct. I get the exact same results, and I am not you, and I'm going through an incognito thing, not signed in. And we are still number 3.
What?
So it's not for that reason.
Andrew Raftery said, do not shop at Whole Foods if you have another grocery store. For the love of God.
Yes. Yeah, Whole Foods is something, it's more of a luxury situation. So if you can afford to shop at Whole Foods, you can afford to shop somewhere else. But I'm talking about specifically like Walmart and Amazon, because if you Google like anything, think of any product and Google it, those two things are going to come up and they're going to be some of the cheapest prices for it. So that's why, like, if somebody, is trying to string together their budget, I'm not going to begrudge them getting it the cheapest they can possibly do it. Because sometimes that's a luxury to be able to tell people not to shop at these, big box places.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Kareem said the strikes like the Frito-Lay strike and others should all be combined into the general strike so it can grow organically in that way. That's a good point. What do you think about that, Jackie?
That's how traditionally it happens. It's happened in the past. Like teachers will strike and then nurses will strike and they'll realize, hey, we're on the same page. And then that kind of just snowballs into a general strike. Or like coal miners will strike and then General Motors employees will strike or something. And then so basically, like it starts with a spark, right? One spark is like the Frito-Lay strike, or like an Amazon strike, or like a strike, and so you get these little sparks, and then next thing you know, more people are like, yeah, and they start, and it kind of snowballs like an avalanche. And I just mixed metaphors. I went from a fire to an avalanche. That's the avalanche would put out the fire. So whatever.
Dot said, I look up items on Amazon, note the company name, then go to the manufacturer's site and order the product, oftentimes with a discount by using a throwaway email. Ooh.
I've done that too. And they're almost exactly the same price. Yeah, I've done that. Because like on Amazon, what I usually use Amazon for if I'm buying a product is specifically the reviews. Because they're more tight on who's reviewing. Because if you just go to like any random review, you'll see a bunch of BS reviews that they paid people to write. But on Amazon, like you'll see like verified that somebody actually bought it. So I use Amazon for like checking out reviews, and then I might go to a different website to buy it. Like it's just like he said, like go specifically to that manufacturer if it's that manufacturer. But there are also a lot of like drop shipping people on Amazon. So yeah.
I'm curious, is there anyone in the chat that has participated in a strike before, that like you worked with, you belong to a union and you have gone through a strike? I'm just curious. If you have, feel free to comment in the chat. Eric Thomas said, raising the wage floor raises all wages.
Yes, rising tide lifts all boats. That's what we're looking for. And to me, these things go together. Raising the minimum wage, healthcare. We have to decouple healthcare from our wages, from our jobs. And then unions actually have more power, because now when they go to the floor, if healthcare is universal in this country, Unions don't have to spend half their time making sure that you get insurance. Now they can actually give you, make sure you get more money. So if you're a nurse and you're part of a nurses union, we get universal health care. The minimum wage goes up to $25 an hour. If you're making $25 an hour now, that union can spend 24/7 making sure you make $40 an hour.
Wow. Black Magic said when one shops for groceries on Amazon, they come from Whole Foods. There you go. There you go. One of the things I want to bring up too about going on a general strike, you're going to have to stock up. I mean, like, Jackie, would you agree? Because like, if you're not going to buy anything, I mean, that would include, like, technically, wouldn't that include gas?
See, that's the thing. That's why, and this is why I kind of agree with someone in the comments who said it looks like it was done by like, bougie kids that want to like help the poor people, because poor people don't have the money to stock up because they don't have disposable income. So we've got to keep thinking about it like that. Working class people, the same people who don't have $400 to get through an emergency don't have $1,000 to stock up on 3 months of toilet paper or, supplies, whatever. So we've got to think about it like that. And it's not necessarily feasible. It's not always feasible for them to be able to afford to pay for something that's for like for a mom and pop store. That's why it is imperative that we have mutual aid and we have unions helping with this, because with unions, they can make sure you still get paid while you're striking. With mutual aid, your every day can be paid for. You're like, there are a lot of things you can live without, but poor people already know that because they don't have them. So you can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. Like, we got to think of the mentality of people that you're asking to not go to work. It's more than just paying their rent. You have to make sure that, if they have kids, they have to be able to buy school supplies for their kids. They have to be able to feed their kids. They have to, there's so many things that need to be taken care of for people. And I think the problem is a lot of people who organize things that have disposable income don't realize how difficult it is for people who don't have disposable income. So I'm just saying, like, when you're organizing things, keep that in mind. People can't afford to stock up. If they could, they wouldn't be striking.
That's a good point. Jackie, I want to get your opinion on this because Kimberly just brought up a good question. If 80% are living paycheck to paycheck, how is a general strike going to work?
Exactly like I just said. You need unions, you need mutual aid. And that's why I said it takes time to organize that. Because here's the deal. I may not individually be able to go without working for 3 months. I may not individually be able to fund a mutual aid. But if everybody put in $1 a month for 3 months, and I mean everybody, like there are 340 million people in the United States. If you could get 100 million people to put in $1 every month, that's a hell of a mutual aid. And that can help pay for people to live day by day throughout the strike. That's how you do it. You do it through mutual aid. You do it through unions so that people can still get paid while they're striking. They can get unemployment. That's how you do it. That's why I said it can't be done overnight, because you have to have that set up, or else it's gonna go bust. Because you're literally telling the people who make sure that you are able to eat, I'm not going to go to you anymore. So they're gonna say, then I'm gonna take away your ability to eat. You have to have the safeguards in place before you do anything, or it's not gonna work.
You know what else too? And that goes back to the point you were saying earlier about it's not enough time. Like October, just finding out about this now. And guys, just keep in mind that most people don't know about this still. So just finding out about this now, and this is happening in October, that's not really enough time for people to come up with the mutual aid that's needed so that people can leave their jobs. Like, this should have been announced. Heck, actually, like when at the height of COVID, when all those people were getting laid off. I feel like this should have been announced a long time ago. And then we could have been like working to build up towards this. And then when they least expect it, because, you know, some people are starting to go back into work now. When they least expect it, that's when you strike. Because I feel like now they're expecting us to do something bizarre or whatever.
I like Jonathan Salinas's, that's a mouthful to say, Salinas's, his comment, real strikes have strike funds. Strikers at Alabama Met Coal and others have strike funds people can donate to strike funds. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You need to grow strike funds ahead of the strike. That's how that's how people can afford it.
So like what to, you know, Jonathan's point earlier on too, this doesn't seem like it was organized by actual like people who are used to doing this, like organizers, people who are skilled at doing this. And that is concerning. I was concerned when I went on the website and there was nothing, there were no other tabs, no other pages or anything to click on. It was just that information, which I just showed you guys. And that was it. I want to give a shout out to Indy Left. Indy Left! Hello! We love Indy Left over here, man. Valerie said, plus with everyone home and unemployed, the pandemic, it would have been perfect. See, like that. Valerie knows.
What we should have done, I mean, we didn't know because the pandemic was a new thing and we were too busy being lied to by our government. But had we taken the time to research how long it takes to create a vaccine and know, okay, we're not coming out of this anytime soon, and we could have organized a general strike last year, like in like February, March, to happen this year. We could have set it up so that, and you know, if we had somebody on the inside, like, I don't know, maybe a congressman that's an independent, you know, maybe if we had some help, or maybe, I don't know, a certain squad that's supposed to be progressive, if we had people on the inside helping us so that they made sure that people were well funded, not just throughout the pandemic, but like throughout the, you know, from now on, if they could have organized that, that could have been the inside game. The outside game is the general strike. And then what could happen is, as soon as the government says, go back to work, that's when we could say, no. Start, and that's when the general strike can commence. That would have been, like, hindsight is 2020, as in the year 2020. So, you know, if we had known it, and see, boom, the win gap. Here I am making $40 an hour due to union negotiations. Exactly.
Kimberly said, if you are covered by a union, how is a union going to help?
That's exactly my point. We need to start unions in places where there aren't. That's part of the planning phase. That's exactly what I'm saying, is we don't have enough unions. And the inside game in the government is we need people who say that they fight for us to repeal these laws that make it more difficult for unions to organize. And we need the outside game. We need people, everyday people who go to work, to start a union. That's what we need.
Oh, sorry. Leslie said, this is one reason why mutual aid is more important than giving money to a politician or getting a politician elected. Leslie, yes.
100%.
What do we tell you guys? Like, I say this over at Fred Hampton Leftist. We say this. It's more important that you support your community and help fix and build your community than giving that same money to politicians who are just going to get in office and they're not going to do what they told you they're going to do anyway. Preach, Leslie, preach.
Or,
Valerie.
you know, I don't know, take your money that you gave to people specifically because they didn't have a PAC and turn around and give it to corporate PACs.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Just saying.
Valerie said, I saw a lot of calls for a general strike last year, but no one planned ahead. I feel like they haven't been in our recent past. That's a good question. I'm actually going to look that up real quick. Shout out to Lila. She's a Sabby member, 100%. I'm going to look that up real quick because I'm curious.
Well, we almost had a strike, an NBA strike, and then, you know, everybody's favorite president, just because he has a certain melanin in his skin, he decided, nah, y'all go back to work.
Yeah.
And that would have gone a long way to organize a general strike, because we are a celebrity culture. If celebrities do it, people will follow. When the NBA goes on strike, other people will be like, yeah, what LeBron is doing, which is sad in and of itself, but still, it works.
Okay, I found there were two. I'm going to share it, but it's not to the level of a national one. But I'm going to share my screen. And all right, this is what we have here. It says the two major general strikes in American history are the Seattle General Strike of 1919 and the Oakland General Strike of 1946. 1919, the workers of Seattle engaged in a 3-day mass action calling all city workers onto the streets. This was the first citywide collective action in American history known as a general strike. Okay. But not to the level, not a national one. That's the thing. That's scary. I mean, that's crazy if you think about it.
You don't have to organize a national general strike at first. You could. It depends on it depends on who you're striking against. Okay, that's a caveat, because if you are striking against Walmart or Amazon, it has to be national. Let's just stop. Let's not lie to ourselves. If you are striking against, say, General Motors, you can do it. You can start in Detroit and then go to Florida and then Chicago, wherever. But when you're dealing with international corporations like Amazon and Walmart, if you just strike in one state, you could have the entire state organized and the entire state goes on strike, and they will pull out of that state and go to the next one. Because we've seen it happen. Like Musk got all pissed off because the state of California was had laws about the pandemic and people working, and he wanted to send his employees to work during the pandemic and didn't give a shit if they died from it. And he threatened the state that he was going to either sue or pull out of the state and go to Texas if they didn't allow him to send his employees to work in the process of the beginning of the pandemic.
Blue Moon Red Wine said everybody gave to AOC's courage to change PAC, and she gave less money to the committee land trust than regular Democrats. LOL. Justice Dems is a lucrative tool for the Dems. Yep. All right, Jackie, someone else had a question about mutual aid. They said, Nevia, how do we trust the mutual aid purse holder not to run away with the money?
That's actually a good question. I don't know. That's a good question.
Oh, Nevia.
We're gonna have to all I know is you can do it by committee, and you can do it in a way that everything is transparent, so everybody can see what is happening. You can set up bylaws of your corporation, or not corporation, of your organizing of if the money goes, if funds are misappropriated, then you have a right to sue that person. I mean, I'm saying I'm not a lawyer, but that sounds like something that you would definitely want a lawyer to deal with, because that would be something where, if you have a charter in place and you have legal ramifications of stealing that money, then that would discourage people from trying to steal it.
That's a good point. Flossie Tube said, John Chaos, you're absolutely right. We need to think about growing our own food. Mutual aid is essential too. Call me crazy, but I think the Black Panthers were onto something in the 60s. Yep. You're absolutely right, Flossie. And that's what like we do over at Fred Hampton Leftists as well. Like Rome is going across the country on a tour for the poor, doing like mutual aid. Affinity is doing mutual aid in DC. You have to take care of the people in your community. Going down through the comments.
Also, Carrie, a lot of people don't know this about her. Carrie from Hair of the Dog, also on FHL, she is she's building her own house that is off the grid. And she's doing it like completely by herself. And if we could just get back to that, see, they don't want us to do that because then you're not the good consumer. You're not giving your money to the government for your water. You're not giving the money to the government for your disposal. You're living off the grid. And, you know, George W. Bush gave it away when he said, go back to buying. Because there are two things the government needs from us. They need us to buy things and they need us to work. And that's why, like, I heard today that Joe Biden had a town hall and he had the nerve to say that the pandemic was over. How is that not any more dangerous than when Trump said it would be over by the summer? Like, if you think red or blue is better, either one, you're fooling yourself.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. The growing your own food thing is really key. And that was something I thought about when it was the height of COVID, because it was harder to find certain things at the grocery store. They were running out of things. And it was one of those times where I thought like, wow, you know, if we grew our own food, we wouldn't really have to think about a lot of this stuff. Or we wouldn't be relying on the grocery stores for some things. I'm not going to keep you guys too much longer. Before I close it out, I just want to make sure just going to go back through to make sure I didn't miss something really important in the chat. That is pretty much it. Jackie, anything you want to plug?
Check out Fred Hampton Leftist. I have a show on Mondays, 1 to 3 Pacific, called Nerdolitics, where we talk the politics of nerd culture. Sometime either this week or next week, I would love to tell you the exact day, but I don't know it yet. I am going to be putting up my interview with Aaron Mate. And yeah, fun stuff coming down the pipeline. Check us out. Miss Sabby Sabs is there as well.
Yeah, fun times. Just want to give a shout out to Lila. I would love to see community gardens. Yeah, we have some of them. I think it was a couple years back. I did go check one out and they said they were full. That is something you run into sometimes too. Like if you go to the community gardens and you ask like if you can have a plot, they'll tell you that they're full because they're in so high demand.
But somebody had another good comment that instead of growing lawns, you should grow food. Because lawns, especially in the Southwest, you shouldn't be, like, in order for a lawn to work here, you have to water it yourself because it doesn't rain enough. Because lawns are not indigenous to this area. They were brought in. So instead of having a nice green lawn, grow your own food in front. If you have a house, if you're in an apartment, you can get one of those boxes that you could put on your windowsill and you can grow stuff in your window.
That is another good idea. Oh, and the rooftops. Because some people put them on the rooftops. Oh, Eric Thomas said buzzsaw mate. Okay, guys.
Buzzsaw Mate, Aaron Mate. That's his nickname from Jimmy Dore's Buzzsaw.
Oh, but
Buzzsaw Mate. Yeah. Yeah, he's we talked about the OPCW and like Syria scandal, Russiagate, and the state of journalism.
Oh yeah, because I was wondering, I was like, didn't Jackie interview Aaron Mate? I was looking for it.
I did, but I also have just everything to do, and so it took me a while to edit it. So I'm finished editing the video, but I'm almost done editing the podcast part because we have both a podcast and YouTube. So before I send everything out, I want the whole thing ready. And today, I promise you, today I will finish editing the podcast, and then I'll figure out when I'm gonna set it up because I would like to have it set up as a premiere, so that I can like talk to people while it's going. But if I set it up for the weekend, then I can't. I want to get Jamarl Thomas on my show as well because I think he's awesome.
He follows me.
He follows you. Hook me up.
I know. I was supposed. I'm telling you, Jackie. I got a list of people that I'm supposed to contact and see if they can come on. And I swear to God, every time I go back to that list, I get preoccupied with something else. And I'm like, I'll come back to them tomorrow. I'll come back to them next week. I'll come back to them. Because like for people watching, if you guys don't know, like me and Jackie have regular jobs. So it's like, like we don't do this full time. Like we'd like to do this full time, but we also have regular jobs. So like we're like busy people.
So it's not like I'm just not doing it. I have a ton of things to do.
Yep. Yep. Shout out to Lila. I like him. Yeah, I know. Yeah, both of them are awesome. Let me give you guys some rundowns really quick before I peace out. Tomorrow evening at 7:00, join me live. I will be with Kyle Davis. He is the organizer for the Medicare for All March in Boston, and I'm going to be the MC for that march. So me and him have been working together for the past couple of weeks trying to make this happen. And also on that show, we are going to have a podcaster who is from Canada, who is also a conservative, but likes having healthcare for all. And he is going to tell us how the healthcare system works in Canada. So that should be pretty fun. That's going to be our, I guess you want to call it our pre Medicare for All March, like pump up vid or whatever. So that'll happen tomorrow night. And then Saturday. Pre-game. Medicare. Yep. Medicare for All March pre-game. And then Saturday, myself and a lot of the other like speakers, organizers for the marches across this country, we're going to be live streaming those marches. So you'll get to hear like the speakers and stuff too. So pretty much when you go on YouTube on Saturday, in terms of like, independent media, that's probably what you're going to see is all these live streams of the marches all over the place. And then I'll make sure I put the link in the chat one more time too, because every time I mention it, I know someone else asked me about it. Like, where's the website? But we are in over 50 cities now, which is insane considering this all came together within the last couple of months. So the activists and organizers have worked really hard on making this happen. And some of the guest speakers, Susan Sarandon is going to be the keynote speaker at the march in New York City. I don't remember all of them. It's a lot of people.
Jimmy Dore in LA.
Jimmy Dore is going to be the speaker in LA. It's going to be a really cool time. And I want you guys to pay attention and let me know if you don't see mainstream media cover any of these marches, because people marching across the country, 50 cities, come on.
They won't. They didn't cover the OPCW. They have an agenda and they're not going to cover it.
Yeah, guys.
One thing, if you mind if I mention one thing really quick, Black Magic said, please stop celebritizing journalists. We're not celebritizing journalists, but journalists are the only reason we know anything, because the news is not going to tell you. The news is nothing but CIA propaganda at this point. That's all it is. So if it's not for journalists, we don't get any information to give you guys. They're the ones that go to Syria and talk to the people on the ground and find out that the original OPCW report had a different conclusion. And that the OPCW in France and the United States and UK said, hey, change it so that we can go ahead and start this dirty war anyway. Without journalists, we wouldn't know that. Without journalists, we would all believe Russiagate. It's because of journalists that we know anything that our government is actually doing. So it's not that they're celebrities, it's that they're our only means of information that is genuine and not propaganda. And somebody asked what my YouTube channel name is. It's Fred Hampton Leftist. My personal show is either JP Interviews or Nerdolitics.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you pop over to FHL, you'll see me and Jackie and 8 other people because there's 10 of us all together.
11.
11?
Yeah.
Who am I
Carrie and
missing?
Andy do one show, but they're technically 2 people.
That is true. Oh my God. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Black Magic. Would you care if Jimmy Dore wasn't pushing it though? So actually, Black Magic, I had activists and organizers on this show back in May, way before Jimmy had signed on for it. So for me,
I was
it
going to
was
say,
about getting
considering
healthcare.
Jimmy Dore didn't join till yesterday, yes, we still would care, because you know what? Who gives a shit about podcasters? Any of us. We're trying to get people healthcare. So if you're against force the vote, then tell me what's better. If you're against the Medicare for All march, then tell me what's better. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you say that what we're doing is ineffective, you tell me what's more effective. Because at the end of the day, it's all about achieving the goal of getting everybody healthcare. So I don't care if Susan Sarandon or Jimmy Dore is going to be there. I just found out about both of them yesterday. If neither of them were going to be there, it's still a good idea. That's my say on it.
Yeah, it's about getting everybody healthcare, you guys. I will say, like, a lot of us we've had like Savage Joy and Sharif on months ago. That was back when, in fact, if you go back through my older videos, that was back when there was only 3 marches. It was Seattle, DC, and Los Angeles. And at that point, I thought that was all, it was just going to be those 3 locations. And as time went by, they added more and more cities. So we've been talking about this for a long time. But yeah, one more thing to tell you guys is, then Sunday after the marches, I'll be on Fred Hampton Leftist with JB, who is really awesome. And we're going to talk about our experiences during the marches and stuff like that. For those of you who are new, and some of you may not know this just yet because this really just recently happened, if you want to become a member of the Sabby Sabs show, you can do that now. So now you go to my channel, you'll see a join button. You can hit that button. There's a list of benefits that you get with that. And you can also join my Discord through that. Or you can also join my Discord if you sign up to be a patron.
Yeah, really quick. I know I hate to do this, but she kept commenting. She said, "Oh, I see. If one is not rah-rah for Jimmy Dore, then it is not for M4A." Literally the opposite of what I just said. Complete opposite of everything I said. I said I don't give a damn about podcasters. It's about getting people Medicare for all. So again, if you don't, it's not. And you said you're not a Debbie Downer, but not a Jimmy Dore groupie either. Neither am I. I have never said that I was a Jimmy Dore groupie. Again, I'm talking about the issue, which is Medicare for all, or getting people health care. And so far, 2 different ways have been presented. One was trying to get the representatives to force the vote on Medicare for all. And the second is now this March. Again, one last time for those in the back. If you have a better method and you're sitting here saying those methods won't do anything, I'm all ears. Because the end game is getting everybody health care. I want health care, okay? I don't care who it is. If Tucker Carlson comes out tomorrow and says we need Medicare for all, cool. I don't give a shit. You understand? Okay? That's exactly my point. So please understand, you're the one who brought up the whole Jimmy Dore thing. We mentioned that he was speaking because she was listing off a name of people who were going to be speakers. That's how we brought up Jimmy Dore. But this whole argument over like Jimmy Dore being like, if we're not for it, literally nobody ever said that. We just mentioned that he's speaking. So That's the last thing I'll say about that. Because it seems like this person just wants to, like one of those Jimmy Dore haters that just wants to argue on it. Just keep it on the substance. We're talking about healthcare. We're talking about Medicare for all. Let's figure that out.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to Alice for the super chat. She said, organized, good on you both. And I do just want to let everybody know that this is actually not a partisan march. We have people in this march that are conservatives, Democrats, independents. It is not about a left thing or a right thing. We even have conservatives that are going to be speaking. It is about getting everybody healthcare in this country, which is the way that it should be. This should not be a partisan issue. I am done for the evening. Jackie, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Catch you tomorrow. Oh, thanks for the super chat.
Oh, you got
mister.
another super chat.
Chunky yogurt, scam seed, Anna bananas, and Kyle Kent. What? Missed said we need to wait 40 more years. I get what you're saying. Damn. All right, guys.
Chunky
Thanks so
yogurts
much.
is jank.
Oh my God. Thanks so much for all the super chats, guys. And thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you learned something about the general strike tonight. Peace out.